What's going on, guys? Today I finally am going to try and get around to it. My 5600 XT rig. As you guys know, one card's down and this one is unplugged. So I'm going to get it plugged back up and I'm going to pull this motherboard. So I did have one handy that I bought for another rig. So I have this Asus Z370 board. So I'm going to try and run all of my cards on this and see if that helps fix my issue with not having all 6 of them. I do plan on just reusing this HiveOS. I don't think HiveOS was the problem. I think it's a motherboard issue because when I plug up that 6 GPU, it won't boot. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. I do have my laptop down here with HiveOS on it, and as you can see on there, there's only 5 GPUs showing. Obviously I don't have one hooked up, but I do have all my overclocks, so I'm just going to copy them over also once I get it up and running. And I am going to do it off camera, so you won't see me actually swap the motherboard. So I'm going to go ahead, shut this rig down just by clicking it off, get it hooked up to a monitor. I'm probably going to have to change some things around the BIOS, so I'm going to go ahead, get this installed, get my BIOS set up to the way I would like it, and go ahead and see if I can get all the GPUs running. So I'll be back in 1 second and we'll see if we can get this thing going good. Alright, so we looked down there. I did get the board installed, so I don't have the GPUs hooked up. They are still powered for the most part from the power supply. I have this board just off to the side since I do know that it still works for the most part. I can still run 5 GPUs on it. I'm going to keep it. I'll put it on my spare parts shelf. I'll dust it off and I'll get it ready. I do have other rigs where I'm only planning on running probably 4 or 5 GPUs on it, so I'll save it for that. But I am booted into the BIOS back there, so I'm going to change a few things in it. Just to change, let's look and see what I want to do here. I'm going to go to advanced and change around a few things so it boots when, you know, upon power storage. And I usually just go through like a lot of this stuff and change what I think I need to change. Onboard device configuration, that's fine. I don't need audio, so I'll disable it. That's okay. That's okay for now. Just things like this power switch. So I'm gonna go through, change the rest of my BIOS around to the way I like it, and then I'm going to connect all the cards and see if it boots up in the HiveOS. I do have underneath my keyboard the USB stick. I'm going to try and just reuse it. I may need to do a first run on it and add it to my farm. I'm not sure yet, but we'll get to that in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead, tweak the rest of my BIOS, and then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to connect all the cards and get them back up and running. Hopefully this will get all 6 cards back up on the HiveOS at 41 and a half and a little higher megahash a second. But in a few minutes I'm going to go ahead and finish up the BIOS, get the cards connected, and then we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I got this GPU online. It's plugged into the motherboard. It's showing in HiveOS and it's mining. It does have overclock, so it did save them in there. So it looks like it's mining right now on the monitor back there, and we're loading one up. So now the test is going to be getting the rest of them up and running. Now I did delete one off of this, and I did just use that same USB stick, so it's not locked to a single motherboard or anything. I just slapped it on here and it read this, so it's just the operating system. But let's go inside here. And I do like having this laptop now. It's just chilling down here to help manage my HiveOS. So 40 megahash a second now down there. I know it's a little hard for you to read on the camera, so let's hit a refresh here and see 41.7 megahash. So what I'm going to do is shut this rig back down and connect the rest of the cars. They're already plugged in with onto the power supply, so I just have to plug them in on this board down here. You can see them all dangling around down here. So I'm going to get all 6 of them plugged back in. Let's see if it boots up with the 6 and starts mining. I will leave the monitor hooked up to it. I do have it set to CPU graphics. I put 4G decoding on. I set the PCI to Gen 2 speeds and set it to turn on a pound power law, so once it gains power it will turn on. So I'm going to click it off down here. It's going to kill the power. I'm going to plug it all up, get all the rest of the GPUs on it, and then we'll boot it back up. Alright, so great news. All 6 GPUs online on the first boot. It actually saved my overclocks down there. So I didn't even have to retype them in, so I guess it recognized the card through the serial number or something like that. And it is mining right now. I'm getting 41.5 there. So let's hit a refresh on this page. So we are 41.88. So this just started running. It hasn't even been running for a minute yet, so I'm sure this will settle in. But all 6 just booted right up. So the monitor down there is showing 41.7 mega hash on 5 cards, 41.03 on another. So this card was the one crashing before and always giving me an error. So I might put that back up to 900 memory. It's at 885. Just because we're on a different board now, so it might hold a little more stable. So I am going to apply that overclock. AMD, I do have issues with doing this. It will crash the rig. We'll see if this one does. Since it's on a different board, it may not do so. It's usually my ASRock boards that have that issue. So we'll see if that changes anything. It looks like AMD settings applied. Don't know what that is. Something about a tweaker. So I'm going to let it run 41.37, so it's climbing a little bit. So it looks like that's applied. We'll hit the refresh. So it's climbing a little bit there, 41.37. So I don't know if my rig crashed or if my... it looks like it may have crashed. GPU 2 detected dead. So I may have to tweak a few things and get it running, but I'm going to let it run because a lot of times when I do apply overclocks, that happens. So I'm going to let this go, tweak it over to days, get it stable again, and update you. But I do have all 6 cards up and mining. It's booting up again right now, so once it's up and going, I'll let it run for a day and see if it'll hold stable. But thanks for checking this video out. You know, if anyone else was having issues with the H81 Pro BTC, I packed up and put it away, but I ended up swapping out the board with the Prime Z370 with a Celeron CPU. So it has, let's see if it even changed in Hive. I don't think it. It's an it's an i3 8100 CPU, not Celeron. So it's actually a 4-core CPU and then just 4 gigs of RAM. But you know, it's back up and running. I'm gonna let it run, see if it holds stable for a while, and hopefully I won't have any more issues with GPUs detecting dead. That seems to be an issue I had sometimes, where when I would try and overclock, that would happen, and the rig would shut down, and I'd have to reboot it, and then it would be okay. So hopefully that's all it is. But thanks for checking this video out. Hopefully this was successful and it'll hold stable. Let's check now. If anyone else is using 5600 XTs, I'd like to see what overclocks you guys are using, what settings you're using, if you like them or not, or if you ended up getting rid of them. I know they're a little more finicky than my other rigs, but you know, check us out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.